Today we discuss section 4.5. This is the last section of the chapter 4. In this section, two inequalities will be discussed. That is regarding the pi of n and Pn. Pn is the nth prime and pi of n is the prime number function. We start with 4.6, section 4. Theorem 4.6. For every integer, we have for n greater than or equal to 2, we have this inequality 1 by 6 n by log n less than pi of n less than 6 n by log n. Okay, so we start with the inequality 2 raised to n less than or equal to 2n cn less than 4 raised to n. In fact, this is equal to, or this implies 2 raised to n less than or equal to 2n cn is the binomial coefficient, so that will give 2n factorial divided by n factorial into n factorial, which is less than 4 raised to n. This is our assignment number 7. We have already seen the proof of this inequality in the assignment. So if we start with this inequality, the first part of the inequality is obtained by just expanding this 2n factorial divided by n factorial and n factorial, and the other part, the second part, is obtained by using the expansion of 1 plus 1 whole raised to 2n, and by choosing the coefficient 2n n from that expansion. We already seen these inequalities in your assignment 7. Okay, so we start with this. By taking log on these inequalities, you can get n log 2. N log 2 is less than or equal to log 2n factorial minus 2 times log n factorial less than n log 4. This is by taking a logarithm on this. Okay, now we know that log n factorial is equal to sigma n less than or equal to n alpha of p log p. This is what we have proved in Legend's identity. So this is equal to, where alpha of p is nothing but this. Okay, alpha of p is equal to sigma m equal to 1 to integral part of log n by log p, integral part of 1 by p raised to m. This limit can be obtained by this inequality. P raised to m is always less than or equal to n, because otherwise this part, integral part of n by p raised to m, is always 0. Then from this inequality you can write m is, by taking log on both sides, you can get m times log p is always less than or equal to log n. So that implies m is always less than or equal to log n by log p. So we need to collect the terms up to the integral part of log n by log p. Okay, otherwise all other terms are 0. So this alpha of p get an for alpha of p we get an expression like this: sigma m equal to 1 to integral part of log n by log p times integral part of n by p raised to m. Now we concentrate on this term log 2n factorial minus 2 log n factorial. Okay, that can be written as sigma p less than or equal to 2n. This is because if we write this, I'll write here log 2n factorial minus 2 times log n factorial. Okay, so by our formula we can write this as sigma p less than or equal to 2m alpha of p log p minus 2 times summation p less than or equal to n alpha of p log p. So this is how the this is our formula. So this is equal to sigma p less than or equal to 2n. For alpha of p we have summation m equal to 1 to, this is from m is equal to 1 up to log 2n by log p. Here we have integral part of 2n by p. This is the alpha of p in the first term, log p. The second term we have 2 times summation p less than or equal to n. This alpha of p is summation m equal to 1 to log n by log p, integral part of n by p raised to m log p. So this is the difference of these two terms. Okay, so when you consider we cannot compare these two terms right now, because the summation is from p less than or equal to n, and here the summation, the variation of the summation is p less than or equal to 2n. But if we consider this summation for any p greater than n and up to the point this 2n, we have n by p, that is always greater than or equal to 0, because always this is always positive. This is less than 1. Okay, from the first part of the inequality we can write 0 less than or equal to n by p less than 1. So this implies integral part of n by p is always 0. Okay, if n is less than p, then clearly n is less than p square, p cube, etc. So we can get this n by p raised to 1, n by p raised to n by p raised to 3 are all 0 from this point onwards, or all the primes which is greater than this. Then you can write this n by p raised to m is always 0 for all p with this property. Clear? So I can write this sum as sigma p less than or equal to n, p less than or equal to 2n, or if we collect all the p which is greater than this n, still you have this term as 0. Okay, for all those p's we have integral part of n by p raised to m is always 0. So that doesn't make any change on this sum if you replace this limit by p less than or equal to 2n. So that will give summation p less than or equal to 2n. We write the first term as it is, that is summation m equal to 1 to up to the point log 2n by log p. Here we have 2n by this log p, and we write the second sum as minus of p less than or equal to 2n. We replace this limit by 2 times p less than or equal to 2n. We write this summation as m equal to 1 to up to the point log 2n by log p n by pm integral part of this log p. Now you can compare these two sums. Okay, because if this is the case, if we consider all p which is greater than n, you can get those terms are 0. So we can easily compare these two terms. Okay, that is obtained here. Now using this we compare these two summations, summation p less than or equal to 2n, summation m equal to 1 to this point, integral part of 2n by p raised to m minus 2 times integral part of n by p raised to m log p. Okay, that is the difference between these two. Okay, now we have already seen that integral part of 2x minus 2 times integral part of x is either 0 or 1. So the maximum value of this bracket is always 1. So if I replace this, you can get this is always less than. This is always less than or equal to summation p less than or equal to 2n, summation m equal to 1 to this point, 1 log. From the previous part we can get n log 2 is less than or equal to this sum. Okay, so we have n log 2 is less than or equal to this sum, and this sum is always less than this. This is because of the replacing of this quantity by 1 log p. Okay, now this bracket is nothing but 1 plus 1 plus up to the integral part of this. Okay, so that is integral part of log 2n by log p, and log 2n by log p is always greater than or equal to its integral part. So I replace this as log 2n by log p. So now we have sigma p less than or equal to 2n log 2n by log p into log p. So we can cancel this log p, then we will get sigma p less than or equal to 2n log 2n, that is equal to pi of 2n log 2n. Okay, this is because this is independent of p, so this is log 2n plus up to the primes which is less than or equal to 2n. So this is log 2n plus etc. All the way up to the prime which is less than or equal to 2n. Okay, so this contains always number of primes in between 1 and 2n times. Okay, so this is pi of 2n, that is the number of primes less than or equal to 2n, that number times log 2n. Okay, now you can write from this equation, you can write log pi of 2n is greater than or equal to, by transposing this log 2n to the left, you can get n log 2 divided by log 2n. Then you can write this as 2n by log 2n log 2 by 2. By multiplying 2 on the numerator and denominator, you can write this as 2n by log 2n log 2 by 2. And we have seen that log 2 by 2 is always greater than 1 by 4. That is in the assignment. So we have this inequality. Pi of 2n is always 2n, 1 by 4 times 2n divided by log 2n. Of course, you can write this as this is greater than 1 by 6 2n by log 2n. It is also true. Now we have if you consider an odd number, pi of 2n plus 1 greater than or equal to pi of 2n, because pi is an increasing function. So pi of 2n plus 1 is always greater than or equal to pi of 2n, and pi of 2n takes this form, greater than 1 by 4 2n by log 2n, which is greater than 1 by 4 2n by 2n plus 1 into 2n plus 1 by log 2n plus 1. Okay, this is because by inserting 2n plus 1 on the numerator and denominator as well. So now you can consider this term 2n by 2n plus 1. Okay, again in the assignment we have seen that the minimum value of 2n by 2n plus 1 is always 2 by 3. So that all for any n, this quantity is greater than or equal to 2 by 3. So we can replace this quantity by 2 by 3, then you will get this inequality, which is this is greater than or equal to 1 by 6 times. That is because of this 2n by 2n plus 1 term. So the minimum value is this 2 by 3. If you replace this by 2 by 3, you can get, by cancelling this 2 with this 4, you can get 1 by 6 here. So 1 by 6 2n plus 1 by log 2n plus 1. Okay, so this shows that for any odd integer 2n plus 1, pi of that integer is 1 by 6 greater than or equal to 1 by 6 that integer divided by log of that integer. Okay, and this shows that pi of any even integer greater than or equal to 1 by 6 that even integer divided by log of that even integer. Okay, so this is true for, so this inequality is true for every even integer, and this inequality is true for every odd integer. So in general we can write pi of n is always greater than 1 by 6 n by log n. Now, in order to prove the other inequality, we start with the same result we have obtained here, that is 17. In 17, we have replaced this quantity by 1 in order to get the inequality here. So here, in the other case, we will consider this inequality, the equality 17. In this 17, we extract only 1 from this sum. Okay, so we neglect all the terms for m is equal to 2, m is equal to 3, all the way up to m is equal to integral part of log 2n by log p. So if we neglect those terms are always non-negative terms. So this sum will be reduced. Log 2n factorial minus 2 log n factorial will be reduced to this one. Okay, or it is decreased to this quantity. Okay, this is because by taking only one term from this sum. Okay, the sum contains all the terms of the sum is nothing but non-negative terms. So if we neglect all the term but one, we can get this inequality. So this is the term corresponding to m is equal to 1. So log 2n factorial minus 2 log n factorial is always greater than or equal to summation p less than or equal to 2n. We never changed this summation, but we collect only one term from the inner summation. Okay, so that is 2n by p minus 2 times integral part of n by p. For n less than p less than or equal to 2n, we have this is always 1. Now we can see what happened when n is less than p less than or equal to 2n. From these two inequalities, we will get 1 by 2 is always less than or equal to n by p, and n by p is less than 1. Okay, so this is the idea we have got from these inequalities. So from we take the first one, so combining these two, you can get 1 by 2 less than or equal to n by p less than 1. Consequently, 1 less than or equal to 2 times n by p less than 2. Okay, so from this you can write integral part of n by p is always 0, and from this part you can write integral part of 2 times n by p, that is always 1, because this quantity is lies between 1 and 2, and this is lies between this quantity lies between 1 by 2 and 1. So from this you can write integral part of 2n by p minus 2 times integral part of n by p is always 1 for those p's satisfies this condition. Clear? Now we have this result. Then we know that n log 4 is always greater than log 2n factorial minus 2 log n factorial, which is greater than or equal to sigma n less than p less than or equal to 2n log p. We collect all those terms corresponding to p which is greater than n. So that this can be written as theta of 2n minus theta of n. So this inequality shows that n or theta of 2n minus theta of n is always less than n times log 4. From this inequality, the inequality shows that theta of 2n minus theta of n is always less than n log 4. By putting n is equal to 2 raised to r on this inequality, you will get theta of 2 into 2 raised to r minus theta of 2 raised to r less than 2 raised to r. This log 4 can be written as 2 times log 2. Consequently, we have theta of 2 raised to r plus 1 minus theta of 2 raised to r less than 2 raised to r plus 1 log 2. Okay, now put r is equal to 0, 1, 2, etc. all the way up to k. You will get a number of equations. For r is equal to 0, you will get 2 raised to 1 minus theta of 2 raised to 0 less than 2 raised to 1 again log 2. Okay, so the second term will be 2 raised to theta of 2 raised to 2 minus theta of 2 raised to 1 less than 2 to the power 2 log 2. Okay, then all the way up to theta of 2 raised to k plus 1 minus theta of 2 raised to k less than 2 raised to k plus 1 log 2. Okay. When you add all these equations, the left side you can cancel theta of 2 from this term and this. Similarly, cancelling all these terms, you will get the theta of 2 raised to k plus 1 minus theta of 2 raised to 0. Theta of 2 raised to 0 is theta of 1. Theta of 1 is always 0. So left side will be theta of 2 raised to k plus 1. And left side we have less than, log 2 is common, so that can be taken out. Log 2 times 2 plus etc. plus 2 raised to k plus 1. So this is a GP starting from 2 and all the way up to 2 raised to k plus 1. So this contains k plus 1 terms. So this can be written as log 2 times, this is 2 raised to, the first term is 2 into 2 to the power, common ratio is always 2, so that is 2 to the power k plus 1 minus 1 divided by 2 minus 1. So you will get this is equal to log 2 times, this can be written as 2 to the power k plus 2 minus 2. So this is always less than log 2 into log 2 times 2 raised to k plus 2. That means theta of 2 raised to k plus 1 is always less than log 2 times 2 raised to k plus 2. Okay, that is what we obtained here. 2 raised to k plus 1 is theta of 2 raised to k plus 1 is always less than 2 raised to k plus 2 times log 2. Okay, so if you are given any n, you can embed that n in consecutive powers of 2. Okay, that is 2 raised to k. For corresponding to any n, you have k such that 2 raised to k less than or equal to n less than 2 raised to k plus 1. From this you can write theta of n is always less than theta of 2 raised to k plus 1, since theta is an increasing function. Then theta of 2 raised to k plus 1 is always less than 2 raised to k plus 2 into log 2 using this inequality. Then you can write this is always less than or equal to this is 4 times 2 raised to k. 2 raised to k is always less than or equal to n. So this is 4 times 2 raised to k log 2. 2 raised to k is always less than or equal to n. That is 4n log 2. So you will get this inequality. Now consider an alpha which is in between 0 and 1, and consider pi of n minus pi of n to the power alpha times log n raised to alpha. This quantity, this pi of n minus pi of n raised to alpha can be written as summation n raised to alpha less than p less than or equal to n1. Okay, so this will give the number of primes up to the point n minus number of primes up to the point n raised to alpha. So this times log n raised to alpha. Log n raised to alpha is independent of p. This can be written as summation n to the power alpha less than p less than or equal to n log n raised to alpha. But this p is in between n raised to alpha and n, then log n raised to alpha is always less than log p. So you can write it as less than summation n raised to alpha less than p less than or equal to n log p. Okay, so that is what we have obtained here. If we set alpha is less than 1, a positive quantity is less than 1, then pi of n minus pi of n raised to alpha log n raised to alpha is always less than summation n raised to alpha less than p less than or equal to n log p. This is less than or equal to, actually this is less than or equal to theta of n minus theta of n raised to alpha. So that is always less than or equal to theta of n. If we replace, if we neglect that minus theta of n raised to alpha, then you can get this is always less than 4n log 2. That is what we obtained in the previous inequalities. Theta of n is less than 4n log 2. So hence we can write this pi of n is, by transposing all these terms to write 4n log 2 divided by alpha log n plus pi of n raised to alpha. Okay, so this can be written as, which is less than 4n log 2 divided by alpha log n plus n raised to alpha, because pi of n raised to alpha is number of primes less than or equal to n raised to alpha, so that is always less than this n raised to alpha. So you can replace like this. Then we have this result, pi of n is less than, this is less than here, n log n, this n log n can be taken out, 4 log 2 divided by alpha plus log n by n to the power 1 minus alpha. Now you consider a c greater than 0 and x is greater than or equal to 1, the function f of x equal to x raised to c log x attains its maximum at x equal to e raised to 1 by c. Okay, so you have already done this question in your assignments. So we can write this, the maximum, the point of maximum is x equal to e raised to 1 by c for this function. Therefore, the maximum value is 1 by ce. By putting this x equal to e raised to 1 by c in this equation, then for every x, x raised to minus c log x is always less than or equal to the maximum value, that is nothing but 1 by ce. So that is true for every n itself. So n raised to minus z log n is always less than 1 by ce for every n greater than or equal to 1. Then set alpha is equal to 2 by 3. This is true for every alpha. So in particular that is true for alpha equal to 2 by 3. Then this equation will be 4 log 2 by alpha, that is 2 by 3, plus log n by n to the power 1 minus 2 by 3, that is n to the power 1 by 3. We consider this term log n by n to the power 1 minus alpha, and compare this term with log n by n to the power c, where c is equal to 1 minus alpha. By setting alpha is equal to 2 by 3, you have 1 minus 2 by 3, that is equal to 1 by 3. Then the maximum value of log n by n to the power 1 by 3 is 1 by c times e, that is 1 by 1 by 3 times e, so that is equal to 3 by e. So you can get the maximum value of this quantity is 3 by e, so that we can substitute here. So what we have obtained from this inequality is pi of n is less than n by log n 4 log 2 divided by alpha is 2 by 3 here, so I set 2 by 3 here, plus the maximum value of this quantity, that is log n by n to the power 1 by 3. So the maximum value of this log n by n, log n divided by n raised to 1 by 3 is 3 by e, and simplifying this, you can get this is equal to n by log n 4 into 3 divided by 2 log 2, plus the maximum value of this is 3 by e. So you can get this is equal to n by log n, this will be 6 log 2 plus 3 by e. But we know that from the assignment you can get this is always less than 6, so this is less than 6n by log n, and this establishes the other inequality that we have to find out. Okay, so from this you can write pi of n is less than 6 times n by log n, and we already seen that this is always less than 1 by 6 n by log n. Okay, now we have the inequality what we have to prove.